Okay. Okay, so Julie made the motion, Karen seconded it. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Very good. Now we can go on to the discussion and review of the July 4th Independence Day event. Sylvia?
I think the event went pretty good. We had at least 300 people. And the Veterans Motorcycle Group was amazing. It made the parade, it was really, really good.
Wow.
There was a couple of issues at the club with parking and I think staff was kind of running all over the place, but
But those are good problems.
something that,
Yeah.
something we can take care of next year.
Yes.
They were not prepared for that many people.
Right, because they ran out of food for a while.
Yes, they did.
And then they started handing out free hamburgers.
Yes, at the end.
Wow,
Yes, I
really?
had
I left too early.
Hamburgers and hot dogs, but it was very good.
Yes,
And like I said, I don't think they were prepared for that many people, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and I can tell you from experience in having to deal with emergency management in large venues like that, it's always a good problem to have. Yeah, there's
Yes.
always going to be those hiccups when too many people show up, but it's what makes that hustle and bustle and
Exactly.
everything makes it more exciting. So,
I think Julie kind of was working too
yes.
that
No,
day,
and-
but
And everybody was extremely impressed. From everybody I talked to, no complaints. If there was issues at the club, nobody noticed, and everybody had a good time, and everybody was very thankful. And thank you, Sylvia, for all your
Oh,
hard work. I
thank you.
mean, you were 99.99% taking
No.
care of everything. I wish I could have been here, so I had to go to law school. But
I was gone, so I couldn't help it.
but thank you very much for all your.
thank you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
helping.
Happy to help.
absolutely. No, it was a team effort. I mean, Julie was
Yes,
there.
always a
You
team effort.
you really put it together, inviting the motorcycle guys, the veterans, and having the Kay there, and of course you and George, and I mean, it just came together great.
Yes, it was very nice.
I thought it was a great event, and thank you, Scott, for helping get people lined up. And Julie, we probably sold a lot of brick pavers just because of Julie. So,
Well, and I said that having those veteran riders, so that was truly awesome.
Yes,
Yes.
it was veterans and retired law enforcement.
And so probably kind of your, the event was such a success, and like you made a note of like, parking an issue.
Parking an issue, I think,
And even like going to the back parking lot, like I really felt better, because I wanted them to stay, like if they could have driven their bikes to the back and just parked them there for safety reasons. And then needing some kind of refreshment when we're lining up. I was thirsty and hot. And
Yes.
It was a little toasty. So probably,
Even if just little bottles of water would be.
well, we've had water in the past and we were supposed to have that this time, but there was just miscommunication. The parking in the back was supposed to be blocked, but they didn't block it. I tried to block it, but it didn't work. So,
well, and
but I think open the back parking lot and just do half of it. They want it all covered because of the kids. The
Right.
water slide, so they
Yes.
wanted the whole parking lot covered, but no one was there to enforce it. So,
right, so people.
and I tried my
drove
best, but I
through.
couldn't do it.
And then, making sure as far as like tables and chairs.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that,
normally on the invite, we ask people to bring their own,
Yeah,
and the club did provide some with chairs.
and you know what, and I say that, so that was kind of, I look at like the motorcycle people would not have been able to bring their own chairs. Does that make sense? As far
Yes.
as,
well, that's true.
and
Well,
having
some-
them there was actually truly a great,
Yes, it was.
so maybe that's something,
We did have
Just
some that stayed, but there was another event after. So
correct,
most of
yes,
them left.
yes.
But yes, I agree with you. But we just can't provide chairs and tables for everybody, so.
Right, no, I think it was good that in the invitation, it suggested for people to bring their own chairs.
And umbrellas.
Yeah, right. And a lot of people did, where my family sat, there was several rows of families with chairs
Yes,
that they brought.
yes.
So I thought it was a great event. I heard nothing but positive.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, it was very
Yeah,
exciting.
the only thing I heard was a couple of people mentioned they thought the parade went too fast.
Oh,
So I suppose that's okay.
no, I think you're right. I think the parade
It
might have gone
did
a
go
little bit
too
too
fast.
fast.
And of course, we didn't have the fire truck leading, so I think that kind of had something to do with it. They were
Yeah.
right late.
And with those antique cars, they have a hard time like going that slow without overheating.
Right.
So yes,
Yeah, we usually, on our parades, we usually put the fire guys in the back because they will take off. They'll take off on you. But
You're right about the classic cars. I was worried
yeah,
about that because if you go too slow, they will
Overheat.
yeah, they'll
start
overheat.
messing up.
okay, so and speed. I'm just making notes because it's easier to do it now than like next year will be like, what?
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sylvia, and everybody else that helped with that. And it was a great event. I think it's one of that and the lighting of the palms are two wonderful events, I think, that our citizens enjoy. All right, thank you. Okay, item number 6, this is a Veterans Park update. And I'm going to kind of combine number 6 and number 7, because as I go through giving you all an update on the Veterans Park, we're going to have to start making some decisions. So not only is it an update, but it's number 7 is consider and take action on the following items as they relate to the Veterans Park project. So let me start off with the Veterans Park. If you'll remember that we sent out RFPs, and that happened on June the 2nd is when those requests for proposals were mailed out to all of the contractors. And we had bids come in, and we sent them out to H2O Construction, the MVP Installations, Palm Pros, Peacock General Contractors, and Spa Glass. Those were the people that we sent them to. The submission deadline was June the 18th. And on the 24th of June, Michael Galvan and Julie Harrington and I met, and we opened the bids. And we had one bid of $121,964. We had a bid of $49,000 even, and we had a bid of $39,000 even. 2 people chose not to bid on the whole project. MVP did send us a bid, but it was just on the paver part, which is really included with the regular bids. So if you look at the forms that are in front of you, there's Peacock Construction. They were the low bidder. So Julie and Michael and I decided to select the low bidder. And there's a copy of the contract that meets our specifications exactly. And he was the low bidder. So.
And he was also the most detailed.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it
with
was.
everything. And so that you feel really confident with the detailed.
Now, you also have a copy of MVP's installations bid. Their bid of $5,120 that's all they wanted to bid on. They don't want to do the whole project. They only wanted to do that part. And so we had a meeting with, turn my page, the contractors meeting on June 29th at 10:30. Michael Galvan and I met with Trey Peacock and Mr. and Mrs. Flores, who own MVP, which is Mid-Valley Pavers. And they agreed that Peacock Construction would include MVP in their bid. And actually, we will save a little money. When I talked to Trey, he didn't remember exactly what part the installation of the pavers were, but he said it was over 5120. So we will save a little money. So that 39,000 includes the 5120, and it will probably reduce the 39,000 a little bit. So I wanted you to see both of those contracts. And Peacock Constructions, I mean, they had accolades to say about Mid-Valley in the Florida. He said they were good people. He's worked with them before. They do what they say. And he was real pleased that he'll be working with them.
Okay, so they're actually going to be doing their part, but it's all included in the Peacocks.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So that I did talk to Trey about, Mike and I talked to Trey about starting as soon as possible after the city council meeting on the 17th. And so I guess this is a good time to let you know, you all are invited to the groundbreaking on the 18th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
7 o'clock in the morning. Well, we'll go for a walk.
Did you say 7 or 10?
No, 10.
10.
Yeah, okay.
10 o'clock in the morning on the 18th is when we'll have the groundbreaking ceremony. So, and Mr. Peacock again confirmed that he thinks the job will be done in October. So we'll have plenty of time for the November 11th grand opening of the Veterans Park.
Yes, weather permitting.
Yes, yes.
Do we bring the motorcycle people back for that?
Sure.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
idea.
we can
I
invite them.
might buy more pavers.
Is that going to be ongoing,
Well-
the papers, or is that?
Well, let's talk about that. Let's see, what's the next item? Gonna flip back over here. Okay, well, before we talk about the pavers. Item 7A is accept the low bid submitted by Peacock Construction for the construction of the project. So that's the recommendation of Julie and Michael and I. I need a motion.
I make a motion to accept the Peacock General Contractors bid.
Okay, thank you, Scott. And is that Jane seconding? Okay,
And that address says B as well because it's built in, right?
yes, yes. Well, we have some decisions to make about pavers. Or,
Right, but this is specific to the vendor for the papers.
yes, yes. Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That was a unanimous decision.
I have a question about the expected outcome at the city council. Is there any concern or proposition about this budget item from the city council?
No.
We've been waiting for a long time.
I figured. I just want to make sure.
Right.
It's been in our budget for how many years now?
Good.
Sylvia? It's,
Yeah. I don't know how many years we've been talking about this,
Yes.
It's like 3.
but the city council is anxious for this to happen.
Very good. Thank you.
So, okay, if you remember in the minutes to the last meeting, we talked about pavers. And on July the 1st, we had a little field trip. Julie and Sylvia and I drove up to Donna and went to Mid-Valley Pavers and took a look at the pavers because there were some decisions that we needed to make about the sizes, the colors of the bricks, the colors of the paint, and if we wanted a coating on them. This brick, and we can pass it around.
Don't throw it.
Yeah, it's heavy. MVP offered to engrave a sample. And so I gave him my information,
Nice.
and don't worry.
See how you finagled
I've
that?
already paid my $50.
Like we would be concerned.
But they made that, and
So we had to like pick a color.
yes,
And then, like, they gave us a template and kind of explained how the lettering.
So we
Very nice.
So we picked
picked,
terracotta.
that's terracotta is the color,
That's really
Isn't
pretty.
it pretty?
and the paint is black. And we elected not to put a coating, and we had quite a little discussion about coatings.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because I was reading through here earlier and why would we not coat it knowing how the weather is here?
Well, she said that if you put a coating on it, then you've got to replace the coating like once a year, I can't
Fair
remember.
enough. Okay.
Yeah, 6 months to a year,
And-
sun
and
and
the
salt
black
and
lettering.
sand.
Yeah.
And I think that the paint that they use in here has something that helps the paint stay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, when I was reading through this, I'm like, man, why would we not protect it? But that completely makes sense that a coating is gonna fail.
Yeah, and most people don't coat,
Yeah, okay.
and it's an extra expense.
Sure.
Jumping out of perfectly good airplanes.
Yes, I was a
Nice.
airborne. Okay, so the company, while we were there, she said, what's the price that you're going to charge for these? And we said, well, we talked about $100. And she said, it's much better. Everybody charges $50 and you will sell a lot more pavers at $50 than you will at 100.
Sure.
Okay, so this is not in your packet, but I just printed it out. We have 47 pavers already paid for.
Yay.
And here's a list of who they all are. But I mean, I think that's amazing. This is the file with everybody's pavers in it. And we already have 47 paid for.
So John, remind me, how many spaces do we have? Because I don't have that drawing in front of me. I'm sorry. I didn't
We
bring it.
have 1,200.
So we should be okay.
I think we'll be
46.
okay. We can sell as
We
many
got a
as,
little bit of time.
we can sell as many as we want to. Now,
Sure.
let me get into a little more detail on this. We do need to vote on these colors and everything that we've talked about so far. It takes 4 weeks for the pavers, for them to order the pavers and have them shipped to them. Once they get them, or once the 18th of August gets here, after the city council approves this, then I can deliver all of these 47, plus we'll probably have some more by then, to them so they can start. They have to look and make sure that people fill them out correctly. They're going to proof every one of them. So that's why they ask for everybody's email address. They will send a proof to everybody. So they can have to sign off on them, then they will engrave them. It takes about a week for the engraving. So I mean, they do this work. Now, the cost for the engraving is $14.50. If they bring the pavers all engraved along with the other 1,150 or whatever out here and they install them, then it's $14.50. If we get orders after they install them, then it's an additional $3.25. So makes it like almost $18. But I mean, that's a very good price to come out here. They drive out here, take a paver out, put a paver in, re-sand it, make sure it's fine. And they do that for $3.25.
I thought it was more than that. Wow.
The way they do, I know they do it in San Benito, it's the same company. They usually do a bulk order. They won't just come down for each individual one.
Okay, so
So
like you,
they'll collect
you are
30,
collecting
20 or
your-
30, yes,
and
and
then
then they'll make the drive, but they do charge that extra on top of each brick.
So I think you could probably say we can guarantee and install time. If we order them now, they'll be in by the November
Yes.
date, right?
Right.
But if after that, then anybody that's asking, we'd have to say, look, it can be 4 to 12 weeks.
Right. And that's
You're
why,
the only person that orders, you're not going to get it in
Right.
that timeframe.
right. And that's why in my notes here, I've got, they offered for us to stay with 4x8s. Don't go with 12x12s or 6x9s, or stick with 4x8s,
Those are-
which we've done. That's the 1450. And if people order their brick pavers by September 1st, then they'll have enough time to do them and install them all at the same time. So my suggestion is that after September 1st, we raise the price. Because our cost went up a little, so.
Do you have a suggested new price?
$70.
I put down there $70.
Right, that's fine, yeah.
Now, it's up to y'all, it's y'all's decision, but I definitely think we need to increase the price after September 1st. And that also, we can let people know so that it'll help motivate people to order before September 1st.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Are we gonna send out letters or have things delivered to tell people all this
Yep.
dates and the price change and the.
Yes, we will have a newsletter go out after the city council meeting on the 17th.
Okay.
We're going to give them some updates. I've got, Mike sent me some pictures of the parade. And so we're going to highlight in the newsletter the 4th of July parade and the Veterans Park. If we haven't, and I'll talk about benches in a minute, if we still have a bench to sell, we can put that in there. We can include the application, and we'll have a little write-up and explain that to people, that if they get their order in by September 1st, it's $50. And after that, it's 70 or whatever y'all say it ought to be. Okay?
So, I have a question. In order for people to have their brick there for the grand opening, well, should we have a deadline, or in case they want their brick there before November 11th? Because how much time does the company need to come up
So-
with those papers?
So you're talking about a deadline out separate from the
Yes.
September 1st date. So
Yes.
then we tell them
Just to make sure.
by
that it's
September
included.
15th, if you want it in November 11th, it
Yes.
has to be in by that, whatever, I'm just throwing a
Yeah,
date
see,
out, but
the problem is I don't know, it depends on the contractor and Mid Valley as to when things are all ready and when are they going to install them. I don't know when that's going to be until we get there.
Okay. So the sooner they order, the better, just
Yeah.
to be included in
The
our
better
ceremony.
chance of them being there at the grand opening.
and emphasize that in that newsletter.
Okay.
Just remind them, hey, it's kind of our drop dead date. Otherwise, we cannot guarantee and will not guarantee when that will be in.
Oh, and I like what you talked about, how like they do it like quarterly, or, should we state something and leave time, like if you don't get it in by this date, then, quarterly,
This is gonna be the
biannually,
new
or
price,
even,
and it'll be done quarterly. Yeah.
or even
Well,
once a year, like
I-
before the 4th of July or something like that.
It depends on how often are we still going to be aggressive about selling them? How fast are they going to accumulate? Because like Michael says, they want to wait till they've got, a couple dozen of them before they come up here. We don't know when that's going to be. We just know that whenever they accumulate, a bunch of them, then they'll come. So I don't know that we can say it's going to happen from a
Well-
calendar standpoint. It's going to happen when they've got enough that it's worth coming.
Gotcha, okay.
So, but I definitely will say in there that we can't guarantee that your brick will be installed at the grand opening if you don't get the order in by September 1st.
So that's two things that benefit you. Order early,
And price, right?
So
order
it's kinda
early,
like that,
guarantees
like-
there.
Like a minimum of 12 before we approach them and say, hey, make these, and
Okay. Any more questions on pavers?
No, thank you.
Okay, so 7B is to accept the vendor and the related costs and accept the selling price. So I'm looking for a motion.
Sure, I'll make a motion that we accept the vendor as listed in Peacock General Contractors, and the pricing is listed at $50 before if ordered before September 1st, and $70 if ordered after.
And I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Karen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And that vendor is Mid Valley Papers. So now we've accepted Peacock Construction's bid and we've accepted Mid Valley Papers.
Great.
Okay, now we'll go to 7C, which is to accept the vendor for the cement benches and accept that selling price. So if you'll turn to the page in your packet, and Sylvia, now I'm going to ask you to put the cement paver. Okay, it's the first one. No, you're on the plaques. Go to the tab at the top, over to the far left. It says tables and benches. No, no, yeah, right there.
Your other left.
Just touch it. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. This company, after talking to companies all over the country, nationally and locally, even local people, this is what I recommend to be the best deal. It's the large curved bench. That bench is 14 inches wide, 53 inches long, and with the 2.5 inches of top and the legs, it's 17.5 inches high, which is comfortable sitting position. They're only $129.
Wow.
It's double D statutory in Odom, Texas. I've done business with them. They did all the not bosses, but huge things for our church. And I mean, they know what they're doing. Inside, that's something, number one, the quality of the cement is not soft, light cement. It is heavy cement. Inside is like it's stainless steel webbing that's inside. So they hold together. They don't, I mean, they will last.
Gotcha.
I looked even into granite, and granite is like $600 a bench. And so we can't do that. These benches are $129, and Mid Valley Pavers will engrave them for $85. So the total cost to us is $214. Now, I've already talked to Chindo. We've got a truck, we've got a trailer. When we order the benches, it'll take 4 weeks for them to make them. And we can have a staff person drive up there, pick them up, bring them here. We'll actually take them to Donna so they can be engraved. Okay, now, the really good part is we have 3 benches that people have already verbally committed to buy.
Nice.
I mean,
We can only do 4.
can we say who it is? I'm just curious.
Yes, Sylvia Rivera is buying one for George.
Aw.
Okay.
Imelda Hinojosa is buying one for Hino.
Okay.
And Jim Pitts is buying one for his dad.
How many do
Ours.
you have room for?
4.
4. So there's only one.
So we've already sold 3,
Yeah.
and we only can have 4. We have 1 more to go.
Does George know that you're getting one?
I think he does now.
To the minutes.
That's why I looked at her before I said anything, because I didn't want to spill the beans.
Do the are the Larsons on that, there for paver? The last name is Larson. He's the one that will turn 100 this coming year, and he's military. And they're really excited about that. So if
I
they
don't see
haven't
him on
bought
there.
something, I want to get that for them.
Okay,
But I don't know if they're on that list. The last name is Larson.
No, you're not on here.
Larson,
Uh-huh,
Larson's not on the list.
okay.
So,
Well, I don't
yeah,
have
pick up a
some.
form, they're out here in the front,
Yeah.
fill it out, and for sure and pay it by September 1st.
All right. Okay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for them.
Okay, so again, the benches will take 4 weeks, takes a week to engrave them. So I recommend that we charge $500, and that's the 3 benches we sold are at $500. So I guess I need a,
I make a motion
okay, Julie,
to approve the benches from Double D Sanctuary. 4 benches at the 129 and grade 35, 214 total,
and the retail price of $500.
and a retail price of 500.
Have a second?
A second.
Okay, Karen? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Now, Sylvia, we can go to the next tab to the right, that one right there. We're going to talk about flags. Okay. I have to tell you that this flag company, I was so impressed with. This company is just outside the west side of Chicago. The lady I talked to, Kimberly, is the owner's daughter. Her mother owns the business. They've been in business since the 80s, and they really know their stuff. Kimberly is so nice that she even gave me her email address. She said, I'll give you my cell phone if you need it. She said, I can be there at your meeting. You know, I can zoom in if you need me. I said, I don't think it's necessary. She said, give my information to Mr. Peacock, have him call me. I want to make sure that the pole that he's going to order is the correct rating for the wind where you, in your zone.
In Chicago should know.
Right. Yeah, they're used to the wind. But I mean, she says, you don't have to buy the poles from us, but I want to, my job is to educate people so they get what they need. She was fantastic, and her prices of flags were great. And I was thinking we'd get a larger flag, and she said, no, get a 4x6 flag. The top flag, which is the American flag, should be a 4x6, and it's $49. And she said, go with nylon, don't go with polyester, because when it's wet, it's too heavy and it'll stress the pole. And she said, you know, they will last. She said, we guarantee the color. She said they should last a minimum of 6 months, probably a year. And that's as much as anybody would quote. But most people just talk about 3 to 6 months. So I think we're going to be fine with Kimberly. Then on the next one, so that's 4x6, and it's $49. Okay, go to the next one, the military flags, Sylvia. This is the POW MIA. She said 3x5, and it's only $26.
Click on double-sided.
No, we don't want double-sided.
Why?
She said nobody orders double-sided. She said if you order double-sided, it's made in China.
So we don't want.
She said our flags are all made in the United States. And she said everybody orders a single-sided, and people don't even realize it's backwards on the other side.
Okay, I appreciate, that's what I was looking at earlier when I looked at the links. So
Yeah.
thank you. Great.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up, because she was emphatic that only, she said you cannot buy a double-sided flag, a PLW flag in the United States. We're all from China. So she said our flag is made in the United States. So our total cost, there is a $9 shipping per order. So we'll order the 2 of them together, and it takes only 2 days to get here. So our total cost for the 2 flags is $84.
So John, I have a question about that before you vote, or before we make a motion. If these are going to last for 6 to maybe 12 months, do we want to order a couple? Because we want to, I mean, we're honoring our veterans. We want the flag to be clean,
Right, not
clear,
torn.
not tattered, not faded. I'm just trying to plan ahead a little bit.
That's actually a really good thing to consider, because I know that some cities get into buying where flag's torn, and then you have to take it down. That's a total disrespect, and then there's nothing in backup.
Yeah, no.
Plus,
So we
you
always
don't
have to keep
pay
one on
for
the shelf.
shipping.
Huh?
And then
Plus, you
you-
don't have to pay for shipping.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, if we
Yes.
order two of each.
Yeah, or even three. I mean, again, and what I'm thinking, this is my experience as a paramedic. I always keep an extra of everything if I can. So, if we order two, then when we burn one out, or I'm sorry, when we replace the one, I shouldn't say burn it unless we're using the Eagle Scouts to, or the whoever that touches the ground, but dispose of it properly. Once we put the new one up, we would need to order another one, I would think about that time. So if we've
Yeah.
got three, that extends us out a little bit,
Right.
gives us a little bit of breathing room.
And cost savings. shipping.
Right, okay, so instead of $84, it'd be $159.
I think it's reasonable.
It's fine. Y'all wanna
And
do
you're
that?
paying for the shipping for double the flags, right?
Correct.
Just the one
Right, yeah,
action.
it's still $9.
Right, yeah.
Right. Okay, so would you like to make that motion then, Scott?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept the flags from flagsusa.com as presented, ordering two 4x6 nylon American flags and two 3x5 nylon POW MIA flags
Okay,
for $159.
okay, and Sylvia Rivera seconded it. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, good.
Thank you.
We're moving right along. This is beautiful. Okay, item number 7E. This one's going to take a little longer. Accept the vendor and the design for the purchase of the plaque at the quoted cost. Okay, so get over to. Okay, you're Johnny on the spot, Sylvia, thank you. Okay. This plaque company is in Florida. After researching bronze plaque sources all over the country.
Thank you, John.
You really worked hard. I really appreciate it. Wow.
I talked to a lot of people, and again, this guy knows what he's talking about. He and I've emailed back and forth. We've talked on the phone several times. He has, 100% satisfaction guarantee. And when he ships them to us, we get them. If we don't like them, and it's 100% guaranteed. Mark is the owner of the company, and that's the person I'm dealing with. So, I like dealing with people like that. There would be five 5-inch bronze military seals, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. They're $130 a piece. There would be one 16-inch by 33-inch bronze plaque with the inscription on it. That's $1,465. These are both delivered prices, no shipping added on. So the total cost is $2,115. Again, it's four weeks for him to ship them. So it'd probably be another week in shipping. So, by the way, all of these things, after the city council meeting on the 17th, on the 18th, I'm going to be booked because I'm calling all of these people and we're ordering all of this stuff. Because it's got to be here when Mr. Peacock needs it.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the decisions we need to make, in addition to picking Artistic Bronze Incorporated as our vendor, we need to decide, and that's why we need to look at this. These are recommendations that he made. You'll see there's 5 border styles. He recommended the single line border. That's the one in the bottom, second row, no,
No, no.
single,
And says.
Second one on the left.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The single line border, that's the one in the, that one right there,
Oh,
in the middle at the top. And if you look over here on the right, see that's a single line border. That's what it would look like. So the one decision we have to make is, do we want the single line border that he recommended? He said that's what, he's got tons of samples. I don't know if anybody took the time to look, but he's got a whole gallery of samples on his website. And most of the type of plaques that we're looking at are all single line borders.
So I'll tell you the truth, drew me with that one and the single line bevel. I like that, but that's, I'm not sold on either one, so I'm okay either way. but-
Okay, we can keep going and make a final decision. Okay, Sylvia, if you'll move down just a little bit for the mounting styles, which really, I don't think we have to vote on them because it's the way it is. If you look at the, Sylvia, can you bring, yeah, there you go, fine. Right there at the bottom left, at the bottom left, that's the cement example. We're gonna have a cement pedestal. And Mark is going to provide us with a template for because the pedestal is 27 inches by, I think, 37 inches. And he's going to provide us with a template, so Mr. Peacock will know exactly where to put the studs so that the plaques fit perfectly where they're going to go.
now where exactly is this pedestal going to be?
It's in the center of the first circle.
Okay, I remember where they are. Okay.
Right here.
Yeah, it's going to be right there.
Okay.
There's a little square on your diagram. It's got a square right there. That's where that's where it's going to go. Okay, so that's what we're doing because we're having a cement pedestal. And it's nice of Mark to provide that template. That was something that Mr. Peacock asked me was, how does he know where to put the studs in so that the plaques will fit? Okay, Sylvia, if you'll go down now for texture, I think those may be the only three choices. Okay, yeah, okay. So under texture, he's recommending the leatherette. The first one, right? He said that's what most people order for situations like this. Okay, and then color. The dark bronze, that's,
Yes.
yeah, and that almost looks black. It's not. I mean, it's really bronze. It's more like if you look at the leatherette, that's what the dark bronze looks like. Well, I don't think we want black. I don't think we want blue or green.
No.
No. So I think the bronze is the color that we want.
So I like leatherette. Does anyone,
I like the dark bronze.
dark bronze? So cement with studs, the mounting style. And then, so that one is like a single line or a little bit of a beveled.
Right.
I'm good with a single line. He knows what he's talking about. This is a professional.
Right, this
Yeah,
one's-
I think what he suggests is what we should go with. I mean,
It's his job.
what he does, yeah.
Career, yeah.
For this
And he
type
has
of-
the
for this type of
knowledge.
plaque, I think it's more appropriate. I think the other ones are more for businesses and,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, this is respectful.
yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, so one last thing we need to talk about, and that, Sylvia, now if you, Sylvia Trevino, if you go kind of go back up a little bit, so we can see all the fonts.
And in your packet, you've got examples of
Yes. And
wording.
So there's.
I talked to my graphic designer, and he made this paper that's in your packet.
Okay.
And he used Times Roman and the Palantino. And the one at the bottom is kind of special. It's called, now Mark called it super caps, Alan Hollander, my designer, called it small caps because everything is capped. But the I at
Yes.
the beginning of the sentence is a larger cap than all the rest of them.
Yes, I love that one.
So
It is.
I'm having a hard time seeing the difference except for the size of the font between the Times small caps and the Palantino small caps.
I think the Times is thicker.
Or
The
it
caps
seems like
are
it's
bold.
just
the
like on a
Palatino is spread out a little more.
Okay.
Talk about.
And
Yeah, so like these are
he did
two-
both of them. I mean, we can
These are the
look
two
at
I
both of
like.
them, but it.
What color is the lettering gonna be?
It's the
but
bronze.
it's bronze.
Are you getting to see it on the dark browns?
Oh, yeah, it'll be a shinier bronze than
It's kinda like-
the background.
It's kind of like this.
Yeah, very much so. That's exactly. In other words, the lettering is gonna be
The
raised.
lighter color. Yeah.
It's gonna be raised, just, it's gonna look very much like that.
Except that's gold.
Yeah, but this will be bronze.
Okay.
I love the Platino small caps. It's-
I do too. I think
Looks
it looks
conservative, I
nice.
like it.
Oh, see, and I'm like in Times small caps. Okay, so I don't know, but that's. Start by both of them.
Okay. Okay, so then the last thing we need to talk about on the plaques is the actual wording of the content.
I love it.
Oh,
I think we already.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I mean, we talked about this at the last meeting too. And I think
I love that.
nothing else comes to mind other than this.
I read this to the city council and they loved it.
I mean, that is amazing. Did you write that or did you find it somewhere?
I found it somewhere
Well,
It's
at
reallocation.
another veterans park.
I love.
Whoever
that.
wrote it, I mean,
Yes.
they're spot on. It's very appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it includes,
It's concise.
Yes.
I mean, it's right to the point.
perfect.
It doesn't leave anybody out.
exactly.
Right. Okay, are we ready for a motion to accept the vendor and the designs, all the choices we've gone over, and the font and the copy?
So far, the only thing I've heard disagreeing on is the font, right?
Yeah, but I liked it both. So,
Okay.
I was obviously, you know.
We have to say
I
it slowly
totally
so
saw it.
Sylvia can write it.
Okay, then I'll make motion that we choose Artistic Bronze Incorporated as the vendor suggested, border style of single line border, mounting style of black and cement, which we don't have a choice for, texture of leatherette, color as dark bronze, with the graphic of Palatino small caps with the content as presented.
Thank you, Scott.
Wow.
I second.
Yeah.
Julie seconds it.
Question after the border.
After, so I did it exactly in the order that it's in the packet here. So we did border of single line border, mounting style of plaque into cement with studs, texture of leatherette, color of dark bronze, font of the Palatino small caps, and the content as presented.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Y'all are so easy.
We came prepared.
I'm about to screw it up for you though.
Hold on.
Number 18.
Sylvia's gonna-
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if I just do the green line, it'll take it back to me.
Correct.
You can hit the little red, the little red thing up at the top that says and sharing.
I don't see that.
That's okay. Minimize it, you'll be fine.
Okay. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, you got it. Very good. Okay, now, number 8. Consider and take action to recommend to the city council their approval of the Veterans Park related items above as accepted by the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting.
The only update I have is that we increased the price of flags. We're looking at this, right?
Yes, that'd be better.
Okay,
Two slides instead of the one.
Yeah, that's, yes, and I
So motion
ran over that.
with the,
Yeah, we can change that. And I can change that very easily to 159.
Okay, and that's my fault, sorry.
No, thanks, thank you for bringing it up. In fact, we're going to get to the budget after we do number 8.
Right.
Then we're going to get into the budgets.
Right.
But can everybody look to that page where the costs are? Because this is the grand total cost of this project. And of course, now instead of 84, it's going to be 159. So it's going to be a few more dollars than 43,030. But the good news is we had estimated revenue of $2,500 for pavers and $2,000 for benches. And at the moment, we've already generated $3,850 worth. So it's, I mean, we're looking to raise $4,500 and we've already got $3,850. So we are doing wonderful. And but this is just for your information, so you can see the summary of exactly what this project is. Once we've finished with item number 8, then we'll go into the budgets and see how it breaks down.
So John, I'm putting the estimated total cost of 43,105 with the additional flags. Do we want to also mention that our estimated revenue, that the total cost to the city might be less if we sell more than $4,500 of.
Well, for item number 8, we don't need, that's not part of the discussion for item number 8. When we get into the budgets, then we can talk about that.
Okay, I'm just curious if we need to, when we get there, if there's a mention of that. Okay.
No, we will talk about that.
Okay.
I mean, this estimated cost that you see in front of you, which Scott updated to 43,105. Just want y'all, this is just for your information. That's what the project's going to cost. And then we expect to bring in, I mean, we'll probably bring in the 4,500 plus some more if we sell more pavers than 50.
Right. So you're looking for a.
I'm looking for a motion for number 8.
I make a motion that the items that were accepted by the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board in reference to the Veterans Park related items be presented to the city council for their approval.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I was trying so hard to figure out how to word it.
Mike,
Don't make me repeat it.
That's what nobody else wanted to say it.
Michael made the motion and Scott seconded the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Any opposed? Thank you very much. This is going to be a fantastic project, you guys.
No, exciting.
I'll use all my brain power for the day.
Okay, now let's go to item number 9, which is the current budget. And so it's, I think, your tab 9.
So for a number of reasons, we are trying to get most of the project done on this year's budget. So then when we go into the next fiscal year.
We can ask for less.
Yes.
Yes. And in fact, I was advised by the leadership of our city that for every dollar in revenue that we bring in, we need to spend it.
Yes.
Okay, so if you take a look at the budget, here's the Christmas lighting. We had budgeted $1,040. We spent $761, so we have $278 left over that we didn't spend out of that item. The 4th of July parade, again, thanks to Sylvia, we had budgeted $1,475 and we only spent $988.32. So we have $486 left over there. Thank you, Sylvia. Okay, I'm going to skip down to the median beautification. We have not spent that $485 because the plants that are there are still there. And so we haven't spent that. Now let's get into the Veterans Memorial. I showed you the $43,000 that this whole project's going to be. But I have selected the items that we have to order and pay for before September 30th. We've got to pay for the plaques. We have, and if you'll see landscaping, irrigation, and painting, that's basically our city staff materials they have to have. They've already, by the way, dug up the 3 trees. Those are gone. And they dug down 18 inches to take the roots out because that's what Peacock's specifications were. We had to pay $100 for the person that took down the 30 or 40 foot palm tree. But Chindo and his staff dug out the roots. So that was $100. The irrigation, Chindo gave me an amount that he thinks the pipe is going to cost because we're going to tear up some pipe. We have to buy some new pipe. And then 3 gallons of paint to paint the blue and yellow and white if we need, we may only need 2, but we went ahead and budgeted for 3. So $250 is the cost, the total cost to the city for the materials we need to paint the ADA, parking, and the little graduated from the ground level to the sidewalk level. I think that's normally blue, and the ADA marker out there is blue. And so those things we have, and then we have to order the benches, and that's $516 for the benches. Now you'll notice that I've got $6,735 for the contractor. That's Peacock Construction. Now that amount will probably change. One thing is we're going to change the 84 to 159 for the flags. And Peacock's amount will probably go up because I based this on, because at the time I did this on the 4th of August, we had only sold $1,750 in pavers. Now we've sold $2,350 in pavers. And we only had 1 bench sold. Now we have 3 benches sold. So instead of $2,250, it's going to be $3,850. And we may sell a couple more. So that, what I need for y'all to realize is that's a moving number. Whenever I present this to city council, it may not be that number. The more we sell, the higher the number, which again, like Michael suggests, will lower next year's budget request. Okay, I mean, the total is going to remain the same. It's just a matter of shifting one for another. And depending on how much revenue we bring in before September 30th. So I think that's important to understand because you need to realize that those are variables. And whenever I present this to city council in a minute, when you're gonna approve the budget for next year for me to take to city council, it may not be what you're looking at tonight. It'll change a little bit because as we sell more pavers and benches, the amount's going to change.
Okay.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Okay, so do we need to like still make a motion that if we're, that of the budget we're gonna be presenting for the end of our,
Well, item number 9, which is what we're doing, reviewing the current budget, does not take any action. It's just for your information to bring you up to date so you know what's going on.
but I do agree with whatever we raise.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Okay, so are there any questions about number 9 before we go to item number 10?
And again, Sylvia, good job on all of this.
Thank you.
You were right, Laura.
Okay, let's go to item number 10, and that's to discuss the proposed budget for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. We're going to discuss it, and then item number 11 will be to take action to approve that budget and make the recommendation to city council. So now you can go to item number 10, tab 10. And okay, so I have these in order of the events. The first event in our next year is going to be the Veterans Memorial on November the 11th. And let's skip it for the moment, because that's going to be where most of the discussion is. The lighting of the palms is going to be on the 26th, that's the day after Thanksgiving. Because Texas is playing in Austin, I won't be here again. Sorry about
Where's your
that.
commitments? Just kidding, just kidding.
Hook 'em. Okay, so Sylvia and I've talked, and she thinks that her cost is going to be $761, but I think we want to budget for 1,000, just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, the July 4th event, she spent $988, we budgeted 1,000. I think we're good there.
Yes.
Okay, now, I may change something here in El Camino Real median beautification. Okay, I don't know, I think we still ought to plan on spending the 485. Okay, I met with Borgers Electric today. I can pass this around. Sunday night,
I can see it.
Jimbo, oh wow,
That's lovely.
left the power on where we had the Christmas lights. Whoop. And I brought my LED lights from my house, unplugged them and brought them over here. And I lit up one of the trees in the median.
How come I didn't see that?
Well, it was probably only on for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, just on.
So.
Very nice.
This is what it's going to look like. And we need 4 of these. We're going to put one on these 2 trees. And then we've got 2 trees, 2 mesquite trees that kind of lay down. One of them has a real tall, which is probably the biggest tree we have. We'll put 2 lights on that one on the vertical tree, and then it kind of lays down and there's another part. So then we'll light that part up. And then, so that's 3 lights. And then there's one more mesquite tree closest to the tennis courts, and it lays down and is a smaller mesquite tree. So 1 light will do for that one. I asked Bill to give me a wild guess for budgeting purposes. He said $1,500 to $2,000.
Oh my goodness.
Holy bucket.
He's got to put in, the way these were put in, there's a big box. He's got to take off part of it, add an extension, go underground, dig across to where we're going to actually put the lights, and then set the lights right there. So I'm going to also get another bid from somebody else. But I think we probably ought to put in a couple $1,000s for that. Just in case.
The electrical's a big deal.
Yes.
I mean, it really is for everyone's safety, and then when you're having events like the Christmas and people are running around back there, and if there's lights there, people kind of treat it like a little park.
Oh, yeah, they get family pictures taken there. They
Right.
use it. They use
These
it.
lights are on a timer.
Yeah.
And so these lights would be on every night, all year round.
Oh,
We'd probably take them down when the Christmas lights go up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd unplug them and just run the Christmas lights for Christmas. But otherwise, we've got a beautiful entrance and exit. It'll probably be a little better lit on the entrance side than the exit side.
Oh, wait.
So, but the lights are gonna go up.
You'll get to enjoy it. Okay.
The lights are not gonna be shining at the houses
Correct.
on one side or the other. The lights are gonna be uplit. So shouldn't have any problems with people complaining. Because the lights are going up, not at an, not,
And not someone's.
yeah, not angled to somebody's house.
No, I really like that idea.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so then in addition, so it may be like $1,500 more than.
Yes,
Okay.
so I'd change the 515 to 2,000.
Okay.
And I think even security, I mean, it's dark out there.
It's very dark.
Yes.
And I think, overnight, I think that's just a great idea. Well, it's not, it'll be on a timer, so we'll probably shut off at some point during the night.
Yeah, they'll be on the timer, and I don't know exactly what, we can talk to Chindo about that, but, they'll probably go on at dusk and go off at midnight or something.
Yeah.
You
And
had a
then
question?
no issues with the rain like what we have now. Our Christmas lights always goes on, they go on.
No, my LED light
Okay.
sits out there in my yard and lights up my oak tree in the backyard. I've had it for, I guess, about 2 years. Never had a problem. It's completely sealed.
Okay.
Yeah, see, and I think the Christmas lights,
Yes, I
every
worry
year
about it.
they forget and they don't,
Yes.
they've got the loose plugs or whatever, and they don't put tape or anything on. I think the rain just gets into it and shorts them out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so that's down there at the bottom. Now let's go back up to Veterans Memorial. Okay, I had, because we had put the $6,700 in this year's budget for Peacock, that reduced, it was 39,000 down to 34,515. Okay, then the only other cost is the pavers, at $1,450 a piece. At 50, and that's assuming we have 50 of them, that's $725. And then the bench engraving at 85 times 4 is $340. So that adds up to $35,580. Now, if you look up the revenue, estimated revenue, I have that at $750 for the pavers and $1,500 for the benches. Well, which I expect these 3 benches that we've sold to come in, and we've now sold more pavers than when I did this, we should add another $150 to the pavers. No, excuse me, that should go, the $750 should go down to $150, and the bench, instead of $1,500, would only be $500. So we're only going to generate $650 in revenue in next year because we are doing so well in this year.
Right.
But that also reduced the contractor's price. So it's the same in dollars, it's just shifting from one spot to another.
Correct.
And again, I'm going to need a motion to accept what's written here
And to allow for adjustment as required.
and to allow for adjustments as required. Now, I will try to get another quote on the electrical between now and the 17th. And then we should also know what the paver and bench situation is. So I guess I need for you to approve what's in front of you with, and Sylvia Trevino, you worded it.
Extra 2,000.
Yes.
So-
So we need to add,
So
well, and
14,000.
actually, it's not add 2,000, we need to add,
1,500.
yeah, 1,500.
So I have a question, and this is just me, again, not knowing.
Okay,
So sorry, I know that extended our meeting last time, but I'm looking at like fiscal stewardship, right? So we've got power for the Veterans Memorial, we've got power for the median beautification. You've got power for the Christmas lights, but I don't see a line item here about the cost of electricity to us. I know it's absorbed by the city, but
it's not, doesn't come out of our budget,
okay,
doesn't come out of our budget, it comes out of the general.
the city general, right?
That's why it's not in our budget.
Okay. Second question
Mhm.
along these lines. So we're in 2 flags. So
4 flags, 2 US, 2.
2 sets of flags.
Right.
Let's be devil's advocate and say they only last 6 months. This is into next fiscal year. We don't have any replacement flags.
Okay,
We can Adam next year's.
Well, we need to
Right,
include it.
so this is-
We need to
this is-
include it in
That
the
dollar
budget.
amount, yeah, that dollar amount's not factored in there.
So we should add another $159.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
I think that should be a standing order every year.
Good point.
An additional line item.
Yeah. I think thank you for making that point, Scott. Any other?
That's all I got.
Okay, that's not great.
For once.
You bring up some good points.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions?
Now, what do you have in mind for the memorial event? Grand?
For the
I
grand-
don't have a budget in here.
We need to have another meeting for that.
We haven't had our event. party plan. Yeah.
Post office.
Yes. We need to have somebody like Sylvia Rivera chair that, so we can come up with something. I've already suggested to the mayor that he come up, think about a speech. We need to think about who we're going to invite. I mean, there's a lot of details. We could-
Yes,
we can-
just want to make sure I have a budget.
To turn this budget in the, like, this month for them to look at, or we have, we turn it in this month.
This has to be decided tonight.
Okay,
Because, again, when the city council approves it on the 17th, they have a budget workshop on the 28th, and that's when they set the budget for the next year.
Yeah, the auditors and everybody, and Sylvia included, everybody, mid-years usually when you start planning your next year's fiscal
okay, so
budget.
then we're just kind of like, we need to throw a number out there as far as.
We try.
For the Veterans Grand Opening
Right, we're
Day,
having people there and.
Well,
water, whatever we need.
okay,
Should we include it?
yes, we need to think, what kind of budget do we want for the grand opening of the Veterans Park? And you're probably the best person to come up with an amount. Sorry.
I would think it'd be pretty close to Christmas. The Christmas amount, you think, or less.
Well, we're not gonna have any performers, are we?
Well, but maybe you want
Well, yeah, you might.
someone there playing or whatever, so I truly was like, I mean, the first number I wrote down was 1,000 to be safe. And if we
But
should
probably
have-
not a band, maybe a single person.
Single
Yeah, How about one person to sing,
Yes.
America the Beautiful, or Star Spangled Banner, or?
There's not going to be a lot of room for a big group of playing.
No, no, it has to be,
No.
it has to be conservative, I think.
Yeah, I think
So-
one singer.
Maybe
One
500.
Do you want to say 750 or?
750,
I
yeah.
think that's reasonable.
Yes, I would think so.
Okay.
Okay, 750 there. Okay, so let's look at this. Right now, we've got 38,580. And we're gonna add $159 for another set of flags. We're gonna add $1,500 more for the soft lighting of the trees. So that's 40,314 is the new amount. Oh, did I add the 750?
So I,
Let me do it again. 38,580 plus 750
Plus the flags.
we're adding,
um,
we're adding,
35.
extra flights, which what was that difference? 7 something?
159.
159.
Oh, so we're gonna add order 3 total. Okay.
No, it's two sets.
38. Somebody else needs to add this up just to make
You
sure
don't want me to.
I'm doing this right. 38,580 plus 750 plus 159 plus 1,500.
Okay, so I came up with 40,980.
That's what I got.
That's what I've got.
Okay.
3,989.
Yeah, 40,989.
Okay, so can I just make a motion to approve the number of the budget?
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion to approve for the 2021, 2022 budget, a total of $40,989.
Second,
Okay, and Sylvia Trevino, she made the motion, but can you add a few words to that to give me the flexibility to change it?
I think it was, Allison pretty much said it to allow for adjustments as may be necessary.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Okay. Now, so item number 11, well, I guess we just did item number 11, didn't we? That's perfect. Would anybody like to adjourn?
I am, thank you so much for all of this diligent work.
yes, you know, work and work.
We read all this today and it's like, well, we really don't have to do much other than just say, go for it.
Well, and I mean, this is a ton of research, and then, you know, Sylvia from day one, you and your.
When I got back from vacation, for one entire week, I did nothing but this.
Wow.
I spent 8
bet you
hours
had a
a
good
day,
picture too.
5 days.
And then you have all that ahead of you of contacting all these people. And your work is
Yeah,
still,
I'm happy, I'm so blessed that I'm, have the ability and the time to do it.
Is there a second motion for adjournment?
James.
I think everybody seconded.
All in favor?
All in favor, we're adjourned.
Yes.
Now, what-
Okay, so wait, so I did the motion, and who seconded it?